The Cursed School of March 7th, 2025. It all started on March 7th, 2025. Grandma was walking through the school when she overheard a student doing something bad. She gasped, clutched her pearls, and boom, a curse took over. Her body twisted and stretched until she transformed into a giant scaly lizard. She stomped through the school, hissing and shouting, "Math time! If Chrissy has 2 farts and takes away 1, how many does he have now?" A terrified student stammered, 8? Wrong! Grandma roared, and chomp! The student was gone. She slithered through the halls, her yellow eyes glowing, hunting for more students to torture with math problems. If anyone dared walk past the school at night, they would hear her whisper in the darkness, "Anyone want to do math? If not, swallow your butt." And if she heard even the tiniest footsteps, she would burst through the doors, chasing anyone in sight, grabbing them by the neck and hissing, "What's 8 plex 5 6 7? Answer now." Then, on March 8th, 2025, a new nightmare began. Miss Cowart returned. She walked into the cracked, abandoned school and suddenly, splat! She turned into a lizard too. But she was worse, because she farted. Loud. The entire school shook. The walls cracked even more. The sky turned green. Now, the principal had heard about the chaos and decided to put an end to it. He gathered the teachers, the janitors, and even the lunch ladies. They all stormed the school, ready to defeat Grandma and Miss Cowart. But when they arrived, they were too strong. Grandma swung her giant tail and sent the janitors flying across the hallway. Miss Cowart farted so hard the lunch ladies passed out. The principal held up a clipboard like a weapon, but Grandma chomped it in half. "You think you can stop us? Time for math!" One by one, the teachers and staff vanished into the darkness, never to be seen again. Meanwhile, the children who had been eaten were now trapped in heaven, but heaven was different. They weren't playing, they weren't relaxing, they were doing math problems all day long. And if any of them stopped, something horrible happened. Their butts started to itch. They would scratch and scratch, but it would never stop. The only way to make it go away was to do another math problem. But there was one final curse. If Grandma ever saw someone poop, they would be forced to shake their hips and take a butt. No one knew what take a butt meant, and no one wanted to find out. But legend says, if you walk past the school at exactly 3:33 a.m., you will hear Grandma and Miss Cowart whispering in the wind. Let's go. The Cursed School of March 7th, 2025, Part 2. After the math nightmare, things got even worse. Miss Holloway and Miss Melendez arrived at the school, but they weren't there to save anyone. Oh no, they were there to teach. Miss Holloway swooped in and announced, "Ridding time!" Miss Melendez grinned and whispered, "How's the dog's blood doing?" Then they both yelled, "It's essay time!" The walls rattled as thousands of papers rained from the ceiling. Every student screamed in terror. "Do your recent responses. Your mom will say it all the time." And just like that, the curse spread to the parents. When the students escaped the school and ran home, they thought they were safe. But the moment they stepped through the door, their moms turned to them with glowing eyes and said, "You gotta do your responses." You want your phone? Nope. You want your TV? Forget it. You gotta play that game? You gotta play that game for the rest of your life. And if they didn't do their essays, spring break was canceled. No Boston, no vacation. Just essays. The kids started having strike attacks. They were falling to the ground, twitching, rolling, screaming, "No more essays." But the teachers didn't care. The curse was getting stronger. Now, every time someone walked past the school, they would hear Miss Holloway and Miss Melendez reading books out loud. And if you kicked one of their books, a devil would appear, swallow you in half, and demand, "Answer this question about the book," without reading the book. And if you hesitated, they'd growl, "What's the main idea of the story? Use 2 details to support your response." But then, The worst thing of all happened. A robot appeared. A giant robot that only read books. And it didn't just read them, it wrote them. And when it opened a fresh new book, the book farted. "Bro, who does that?" the kids yelled. And somehow in their class, they put it on the screen and made the students watch it. The kids couldn't stop laughing. They loved it. But bro, who does that? The Cursed School of March 7th, 2025, Part 3, The Library of Doom. Just when the kids thought things couldn't get any worse, they had to go to the library. The doors creaked open, and Miss Boswell sat at her desk, her glasses glowing under the dim light. But something was wrong. As soon as the students stepped inside, Miss Boswell transformed. Her skin turned scaly. Her eyes glowed red. Her fingers stretched into claws. Grandma had returned. But now she was a lizard librarian. She slithered around the bookshelves, her long tongue flicking in and out. "Where are your books?" she hissed. One kid, Terrence, gulped. I forgot mine at home." Grandma Boswell lunged at him, lifted him up, and licked his forehead. "Terrence," screamed. Then she turned to the other students. "If you don't have a book, you have to answer a question." The room went dead silent. Then she growled, "What happened in the trumpet story?" Everyone panicked. The kids looked at each other. Nobody knew. One brave student, Jamal, stepped up and said, the trumpet makes music?" Grandma hissed in rage. "Wrong." Jamal vanished into thin air. The remaining students screamed. "Try again." Another student, Lucy, nervously said, "The trumpet was magic?" Grandma Boswell's eyes narrowed. Half credit. Lucy barely survived. But then, the worst part happened. For every wrong answer, the students didn't just disappear. They pooped. Right there. On the library floor. One by one, kids got the question wrong and immediately pooped their pants. It was absolute chaos. The room stank. The books fell from the shelves. Grandma Boswell cackled. "Study your books or else." The survivors ran for their lives, sprinting out of the library, leaving behind a trail of terror. And to this day, if you walk past the school library at night, you can still hear Grandma Boswell whispering, "What happened in the trumpet story?" The Cursed School of March 7th, 2025, Part 4, The Intainer Nightmare. The students barely escaped the Library of Doom, but their nightmare wasn't over. They ran down the hall, trying to catch their breath, when suddenly Miss White and Miss Creeper appeared. Their eyes glowed red. Their skin rippled. Their voices echoed through the halls. Intainer. The students froze in fear. Not Intainer time. Anything but that. Miss White and Miss Creeper clapped their hands, and the students were forced into big groups. "Do big groups," Miss White commanded. "Do add repeat," Miss Creeper added. "Do your exam skills." The kids had no choice. They sat on the floor, shaking, forced to answer practice questions. Then the teachers transformed. Their skin turned scaly. Their eyes turned yellow. Their tongues flicked in and out. They had turned into lizards. And they were angry. "Do it right." The first kid, Marcus, stuttered. 7 plus 8 is, Miss White roared. "Wrong." Marcus pooped, then vanished. The other kid screamed. Another kid, Sarah, tried. "The main idea is," Miss Creeper hissed. "Wrong." Sarah pooped, then disappeared. One by one, kids got answers wrong, pooped, and vanished. The ones who survived had to keep going.